Hey, how's it going, everyone? Good evening. I know you're happy the Niners just won a meaningless game. They stomped the Raiders. Man, they really proved something in a game that they got the bragging right. That game was for bragging rights. The Niners have the bragging rights. So that's what matters. The Niners won another preseason game. They're looking great. Looking really good. So I don't want to be too negative. I want to start off by being really positive. Good job winning the game. I think that Kyle Shanahan did a really good job of orchestrating the two quarterback system. It kept the Raiders off balance. It was effective. I thought he had a good feel for when to go to each quarterback. That's going to be kind of interesting. The two quarterback system, and I think probably if anyone could make it work, it's Kyle Shanahan. So I'm curious to see how this plays out, but I'm also very excited to cover a two quarterback team. That's going to be really cool. But that's pretty much the end of my positivity right now. I'm going to come back to some positive stuff and optimism at the end, but I want to express my concerns because the season hasn't started yet, and it's still appropriate to talk about some concerns, see if we can address them. So let's talk, all right? What's up, everyone? Okay, Garoppolo. What did we see from Garoppolo today? Let's be fair. What we saw from Garoppolo today was the best of him. That was a good Garoppolo performance. That was good Jimmy today. I mean, he didn't almost throw a pick, which was good. He didn't look skittish in the pocket. He was essentially accurate. I thought he looked good. That was good Jimmy. The best of Jimmy. The best Jimmy. Has he improved? Is Jimmy Garoppolo better than he was last year or 2 years ago? I don't think he has. I think on a day like today, where he's going up against a Raiders defense that sucks and is sitting almost all of their backups, he looks good. He freaking should look good. He's going up against a backup defense when he has most of his starters. Kittle, Debo, Trent Williams, most of them. Everyone except Brandon Ayuk. So he looked good. Has he improved? No. He's the same quarterback that compelled the 49ers to trade up to number 3. Not just take a quarterback in round 1. Trade up from 12 to 3, which cost them 3 first-round picks and a third. He's the same guy that the Niners were looking at like, yeah, this just isn't going to work. Not going to work. And it's not. If they were only concerned about his injuries, they would have drafted a quarterback in round 3. Or at 12. The fact that they traded up to 3 shows you what they thought of Jimmy. And the fact that I feel like what they're trying to make us think is that they had an epiphany after making the trade. That, they thought they'd given up on Jimmy, but then he comes back and he plays so well in camp that they're like, oh, we got to give him another chance. And this just happens to work out because Trey Lance could use a little seasoning on the bench. I don't know. I don't think he's changed. I think this is him at his best. Him at his worst is probably going to pop up against the Lions or soon. It was there every day of camp, almost every day. So, okay, you gave him 95% of the starters reps in camp. Did he improve? No. You let him start all 3 of the preseason games. Did he get better? No. What did you accomplish by pivoting from your offseason outlook of replace Jimmy Garoppolo at all costs to, you know what, we should give him one more chance. Let's give him one more chance. Did he improve? No. Did you improve his trade value? Honestly, no. No. Do you think some team watched this game today and they're like, ooh, instead of a 7th round pick, we'll offer a 6th? I mean, the way that they were juggling Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo in and out of the huddle, yeah, he looked great. Nah, man, his quarterback rating was 87 against backups. So, same guy, hasn't improved. The pump and dump didn't work. You didn't pump up his trade value. It seems to me that all the Niners have accomplished by just handing Jimmy Garoppolo the starting job is they've set back the development of Trey Lance. He could have got more reps. Could have got more reps with the starters. Could have boosted his confidence and let him know, you know what, Trey, we brought you here because we believe that you're ready. Instead, he has to hand the ball off and watch Jimmy Garoppolo be the same guy that compelled the 49ers to bring in his replacement. It's very strange to me. But I feel like, good for Jimmy. You played your best. You freaking should have. Going against the Raiders with no starters. Played how I would expect Jimmy Garoppolo to play in this game. I haven't changed my opinion of him. I find it hard to believe that the Niners have changed their opinion of him too. It seems to me that Kyle was real clear that Jimmy's not good enough. But maybe what happened is his team doesn't agree with him. Maybe what happened is the locker room said, you know what, Kyle? We want Jimmy to be our quarterback. It's not like players are the best judge of other players. I'm just saying. They're experts at playing football, not judging football. Anyway, the whole Jimmy Garoppolo thing, the fact that he's still the starting quarterback is amazing to me because all offseason it seemed like the Niners' whole thing was, we're not going to do this again. We're absolutely not going to have him as our starting quarterback. They traded up because they needed a starter. That's what Kyle said. Actually, no, we just need Taysom Hill. Just kidding. We just need a guy who can come in and hand the ball off and run the zone read. Just kidding. Haha, we love Jimmy. I don't know. Okay, let's talk about Trey Lance. What's troubling for Trey Lance is the same issues pop up every preseason game. Overramped at the beginning. Throws the short passes too hard. And then even as he got into the rhythm of the game in the second half, first pass to Jalen Hurd, which Hurd dropped low. That was a sinker. And then the pass to Jawan Jennings, the one that was 8 feet over his head, that's embarrassing. So, okay, that's Lance. He still has these issues. I'm not crushing him for it, but what am I trying to say here? It seems to me that the Niners aren't doing a great job of helping him improve. I mean, he's gotten reps with the backups, but when he plays with the starters, first of all, he's not allowed to start. That doesn't build confidence. We don't even trust you to start a preseason game, Trey. You can't even start a preseason game, okay? We don't trust you. You're not ready. And when you do play with the starters, you're handing off 95% of the time. Because we don't even trust you to hold the ball and run. We certainly don't trust you to throw the ball. That is the message that they're conveying when they bring him into the game and use him like Taysom Hill. And I gotta say, if this was the plan, to draft a quarterback at number 3 and use him like Taysom Hill, it was a terrible plan. I don't see how bringing in a quarterback and asking him to hand off 90% of the time, how does that help him develop? What part of that game does that develop? His handoff skills? I think he's good at handing the ball off. I think he can work on something else. But what they're telling him is, dude, you're not a passer yet. We drafted you with the 3rd pick, but don't think that we think you're good, because we don't. We look at you as a freaking running back, and you're going to help our running game this year, but we don't trust you to throw the ball past the line of scrimmage. You thought we had misgivings about Jimmy. Well, you're making us find new appreciation in Jimmy because we don't freaking trust you. I don't think that's the best way to develop a quarterback. You drafted this guy number 3. You're supposed to be all in. You're supposed to work. You're supposed to encourage him through the mistakes. Hey, don't worry, we still believe in you. But I don't know what they're saying to him, but all the actions indicate we don't trust you. We don't trust you. Right now, you're Taysom Hill. You can come in and you can hand the ball off a run. But when it comes to throwing, we're going to stick with Jimmy Garoppolo in that. I don't think that's the best way to develop a quarterback. I don't feel like the Niners are doing right by Trey Lance. He didn't ask to come here. They wanted him to come here and to replace Jimmy Garoppolo. And then somewhere along the line, they're like, you know what? Let's stick with Jimmy, actually. Trey, what you're going to do this year is you're going to be Taysom Hill, okay? It's going to be great. Sure, Taysom Hill's a 30-year-old, former whatever, mid-round pick. You are a 21-year-old future franchise quarterback, but for the first year or two, you're going to be running back. You're going to have a package of plays like Taysom Hill, and that will help you become a quarterback. You running the ball will help you be a better quarterback. I don't know. I don't get it. I just don't feel like the Niners maximize their time with their quarterback. The way that they divvied up playing time this offseason led to very little improvement for either quarterback. Jimmy got most of the starting reps, did nothing with them, kind of held serve, didn't improve, didn't embarrass himself. Trey Lance got very few starters reps, and when he did play with the starters was asked to hand off. I just don't think other coaches would go about developing the number 3 pick in the draft that way. Not the number 10 pick, not the number 12 pick, not a 3rd round pick. The number 3 pick in the draft is doing a Taysom Hill impression. I don't blame him for that. Trey, I genuinely feel bad for you, man. You could have got drafted by some other team that's young, that doesn't have Jimmy Garoppolo on it, that isn't trying to go revenge tour 2.0, and been allowed to learn on the job. Have a coach who's in your corner. But here it's like you got drafted to some team that's having... It's like... Okay, he's like... It's almost like he's the new girlfriend, Trey Lance. But Kyle Shanahan still is kind of in the relationship with his old girlfriend, Jimmy Garoppolo. And Lance is like, okay, we're together now. And like Lance and Kyle's like, well, soon. I promise I'm leaving Jimmy. I promise I'm leaving Jimmy. But, I can't just yet. What? Anyway, I don't feel that the Niners' plan for the offseason really benefited Trey Lance that much. Unless they want him to be a better Taysom Hill, in which case, for sure, it was a great offseason. And I don't think the Niners' offseason plan helped Jimmy Garoppolo that much, unless the plan was for him to be the same exact freaking quarterback they wanted to replace, which he is. So good. I don't know. I think Kyle Shanahan, I have a lot of respect for a lot of things he does. He really has a great system, a great scheme, but this is different. This is mentoring. And again, he's negative. Everything he conveyed to Jimmy Garoppolo for 4 years is, you're not good enough for me. I don't like you. I'm the star of this offense. When we succeed, it's in spite of you, and I'm doing it basically in spite of you. Now he's doing the same thing with Trey Lance. Hey, man, you're not ready, man. We can't even throw on this team. You're just not ready. Well, then why did you draft him? Anyway, Lance, everyone said you got drafted in the best situation. You could argue you got drafted in the worst situation, because it's a no-win situation for you. You have to be perfect, playing like Taysom Hill, and Jimmy can just continue on being the mediocre Jimmy, and everyone's like, well, we got to stick with this guy. I'm sorry, Trey. I mean, freaking Mac Jones only has to go up against Cam Newton, who has no ties to that team. Justin Fields has to go up against Andy Dalton, who's been on that team the same amount of time as him. But Trey has to go up against some guy that some people in this team and fan base think is like Joe Montana reincarnated. Sorry, Trey. Not a very easy situation. They didn't really set you up for success. Hold on. I've been getting a few comments. Let me go back. I was in the zone. Hold the phone. Hold on. Okay. All right. Hold on. I'm just making sure I didn't miss any. I might have missed some. Okay. Hold on. Hold the phone. Okay. Here we go. Chewy says, Trey's going to develop better by being put in good situations where he can be successful. How Lowell said Walsh did with Montana. Okay. So the zone read is going to make him a better passer. That's what they're doing with him. Hey, come in and run the zone read, Trey. Get out. I don't see it. I don't think that helps you become a quarterback. It helps you become Taysom Hill for sure. No doubt. What do the Detroit Lions and Kyle have in common? They both want Jimmy to be the starter. Oh, that's such a good that's a great comment. I totally freaking agree with that. Cheaton says, why do you think the 2-quarterback system won't work? Perhaps it's a perfect way to bring Trey along without being overwhelmed. When has it ever worked in the history of the NFL? Usually teams play 2 quarterbacks because they don't have a true starter. The Niners are trying to make you think they're starting 2 quarterbacks because they have 2 starters, when what we're seeing is they have none. Jimmy's the same guy they wanted to replace. Trey's not ready. They have no starters. That's why they're playing both. It's not good, considering Justin Fields looks good, Mac Jones looks good, Matthew Stafford was available. No starters on this team right now. Got to say. Grant, chill out, man. It's just preseason. I'm sorry. I tried to be positive at first, but I failed. Hold on. Swan Song, if Lance is Lance Kyle's new girlfriend, Trey is getting a random Wednesday and Jimmy gets the weekends. Yeah, man. It seems like they met on Tinder. Kyle said he was single, and then like on the 3rd date, he's like, well, I can't really date on Fridays and Saturdays because I'm still with my wife, but we're getting divorced. No, I haven't served the papers yet, but I'm going to. It's like, Trey, maybe you should get a more healthy relationship. Eduardo says, I'm a member. Thank you, Eduardo. Trey says, I think you're missing a key element here. The Niners are a Super Bowl roster, and Jimmy has proven to get them there. They will be a weapon regardless. Then why did they trade for Trey Lance? If Jimmy is a good enough quarterback for this team and it's a Super Bowl roster, they could have got something to help him. They could have got Kyle Pitts, that's the player I wanted to take. Nah. No. They are not head and shoulders better than the rest of the league where they could just waste their first round pick on a player who won't contribute this year and still win. No. They are a playoff team, not a Super Bowl team. They're tripping. They are in denial. And so are you, Trey. Trey, if that is your real name. Rich says this is management's fault for not getting rid of Jimmy as soon as they drafted Trey. Who's to say Kyle wanted to get rid of Jimmy, man? Where does Kyle stand here? We have no idea where Kyle stands here. Which running backs make the cut? Okay. Sermon, Mostert, Hasty, Mitchell. I think those four. And they can keep a fifth one if they want. Gallman. But I don't think they need Gallman. I think the other ones look too good. They're younger. Those would be the four I would keep. Mitchell's interesting because he can return kicks as well. That's your special teamer right there. On another note, your favorite NFL team? Always wondered. I don't have one. I cover the league for a living. I don't root for any team. On another note, so I don't do that. I don't do that. Not my job. Okay, keep going. The trade up. We got to talk about this. Because I feel like what the Niners are trying to tell you right now is, yeah, they traded up to 3 for a quarterback, but that's for the future. This team right here is so good. It's the best team in the league. And they have to stick with Jimmy Garoppolo because he's a vet and he's great. So, yeah, they traded up to number 3, but forget about that. Like, they weren't trying to get a starter, even though Kyle Shanahan said 12 times in the pre-draft press conference that he needed a starting quarterback. No, they didn't need a starter. The whole plan was to sit Trey Lance the first year or use him like Taysom Hill. Let him run the ball 90% of the time. Then he'll be ready next year after running the ball 90% of the time. It doesn't make any freaking sense to me. All right? Here's the way I see it. They traded up to, if they just felt, we love Jimmy, but he's a little injury prone. You take a quarterback in round 3. Or at 12. Could have taken Mac Jones at 12. Instead, you traded up. Not to 8, not to 6, not to 4. To freaking 3. And the reason you traded up to 3, Kyle, what you told us was we wanted to make sure we could get a starting quarterback. Not any quarterback. We wanted to make sure we get a starting quarterback because the implication is I can't handle another freaking day with Jimmy Garoppolo. Can't do it. So they trade up to number 3. And the reports at the time were that Kyle Shanahan wanted Mac Jones, who looks good. Already looks better than Jimmy Garoppolo. Had they drafted Mac Jones, he'd be their starter right now. He's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. But the thing is, they didn't have to trade up for Mac Jones. Would have been available at pick 12. They could have stood pat at 12, taken Jimmy Garoppolo 2.0, who's better than Jimmy, and had a new starting quarterback now. No. They didn't do that. Mac Jones wasn't good. Well, whatever. Waiting at 12 wasn't secure enough. They had to move up. And the reports were from Mike Silver, Adam Schefter, everyone, that Kyle Shanahan initially moved up for Mac Jones and had to be talked out of it. Well, I feel like this whole offseason makes sense if that's true. They traded up for someone who was ready now. Better than Jimmy now. He had to get talked out of it because the fan base didn't want it. And you know what? The fan base was right. You can't draft Mac Jones, number 3. He went 15th. Trading up to a guy who would have been there at 12 would have been a fireable offense. So you traded up for Trey Lance because Mac Jones isn't good enough. Justin Fields isn't good enough. You trade up to number 3. That's a spot where you're getting a starter. A guy who's ready. If he's the 3rd pick in the draft, he's ready. Zach Wilson went 2, he's ready. Trevor Lawrence went 1, he's ready. Lance doesn't look ready. So why'd you take him number 3? I mean, here's a question. If the Niners hadn't taken Trey Lance number 3, where would he have gone? Would he have gone before Justin Fields? How do you know? It's possible the answer is no. So what I'm saying is, I never would have traded up to number 3. I've made that clear all offseason. I would have stood at 12, drafted Kellen Mond or Kyle Trask in round 3. But okay, you traded up to 3 for a guy who probably would have been there at 12 or at 8. A guy that you think isn't ready. I think he's ready. You think he's not ready. Why'd you do it? Why did you do it? If you took a quarterback at 12 and you decided he's not ready, you can sit him. He's the 12th pick. That's okay. Patrick Mahomes was the 10th pick. He sat. That's okay. Or 11th or whatever. The number 3 pick, that guy has to play. Who was the last top 3 pick at quarterback who didn't start a single game as a rookie? Carson Palmer? 20 years ago. No, you got to have him in there, especially when you trade up to 3. So all I'm saying is Kyle Shanahan is showing or making us question why he did this. You moved up and you didn't know which quarterback you wanted. You think you wanted Mac Jones, but you didn't need to move up for him. So the whole organization and fan base told you, now you got to take Trey Lance, who also you may not have needed to trade up for. And you don't seem to 100% support. The locker room doesn't seem to 100% support him either. Why did you do this? Why is he here? How are you setting him up for success? How come you can't ever get the quarterback you want? Every single time it's like, oh man, I'm saddled with this guy I didn't pick. I'm tired of that. Act like you want him, Kyle. That's what I want to see from you. Act like you like him. Act like you believe in him. Encourage him for something. That's what Jim Harbaugh did for Colin Kaepernick. He would only say the nicest things about his quarterbacks, trying to pump up their confidence. What do? You kill quarterback confidence. C.J. Beathard playing the best football of his life as soon as he got away from you. Kirk Cousins' career took off as soon as you left Washington. What's going to happen to Jimmy once he leaves here? You keep it real to a fault. You want to be the star of the team. You always need to be right. And so, the quarterbacks are the ones who are wrong. Well, Trey's not ready. Okay, well, what about Jimmy? You just spent the last 4 years telling him that he's not good. So, Kyle, your assessment is right on, and now you have no quarterbacks. No quarterbacks. You got a 2-quarterback system. One guy, Super Taysom Hill. The other guy, dollar store Drew Brees. That's what you got. I hope you guys make the playoffs, man, because I love covering you. I don't want to see you get fired. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't know why the hell you traded up to number 3. I wouldn't have done it. But you did it. I thought, man, this guy really must know something. He must love Trey Lance. Oh, no. You traded up to take a guy who would have been available at 12. And then you, instead, at the last minute, pivoted to some other guy who probably would have been available at 8. Nice. Good going. You really handled that well. I like that. I tried to help you. I'm quality control. But, oh, man, I think people are mad at me for that one. Hold on. They're coming in fast. Did I go too far? I think you guys are mad. Hold on. Man, okay, hold on. I don't want to miss any. Okay, here we go. That was a weird noise. Chris, thank you. Okay, got you. Grandpa. Oh, what's up, Grandpa? Pat Bewley, baby. Chewy, is this what watching a half of Sudfeld causes? Yes. I blame Sudfeld, really. Ominous says, we know what Trey can do that Jimmy can't, but what the hell can Jimmy do that Trey can't? This 2-quarterback nonsense is a fireable offense. Imagine if Kyle Shanahan had told us this in March when they first had the press conference after trading up to 3. If they were like, oh, our plan for this year is to use 2 quarterbacks. You would have wanted Kyle Shanahan fired in March. This is strange. You would think such a strong trade-up would indicate some type of conviction. No, absolutely not. Totally riding the fence. Strange. Very strange. I don't know. Jody says, hey, Grant, I think you're unnecessarily pushing panic on our boy Trey. Aren't we just seeing rust in a kid who has not played in over a year? I like Trey. I really do. I think we're seeing, I hate to say it, but I wonder if the Niners are doing everything what do I want to say? I wonder if they're the best support system for him. He's a 21-year-old who needs mentorship. And He seems like he's in a locker room that doesn't want him. He's got a coach who won't commit. I wonder what the Niners are doing to aid his development. Because a quarterback's development is a relationship. It's not just him. It's him and the organization, the franchise. What are the Niners doing to aid this other than using him like Taysom Hill? Doesn't make sense to me. I don't see how what he did today with the first string makes him a better quarterback. Totally disagree with the Lance analysis. He looked better in the pocket. Looked good. Even flag baited the Raiders secondary twice. It'll be okay. I don't know, man. 6 of 13. Yeah, he had 3 drops, but he's always going to have 3 drops. He throws the ball with no spiral. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think he can improve, but the Niners didn't really put him in a position to do that this offseason because he was running the zone read with backups. Boring. Next rant, Grant. You gave me $2 to say that my rant is boring? I should be boring more often. Trey says, Niners did their due diligence with the quarterback process. Everyone said Trey is raw and needs to sit a year. Even you said this. Why switch on that idea now? I didn't say Trey needed to sit a year. You can start these guys early, running the zone read. You can start these guys immediately. The fact that he can run and not turn the ball over means he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo right now. But the fact that Kyle Shanahan won't go for it is just weak, in my opinion. Don't draft him then. You don't move up to number 3 to take a guy to sit a year. Who does that? No one. You want to sit a guy a year, you take him at 12. End of story. I'm right. I am. You know it. It's just preseason, and you guys don't like, criticizing the coach ever because you're fans. I respect that. I'm not a fan. I don't have to do that. Leave the profile. What? Oh, dude. Jacob, are you kidding me? Dude, I never had that one before. Jody says, dang, G, you were going in on Kyle. Don't think they are intentionally keeping people like you on their toes. It's almost like he's trolling you. He's trolling Trey. Trey's the one that hasn't gotten enough reps in preseason. Trey's the one who's being told, we don't really think you're ready. He's trolling Trey, not me. Oh, you thought we liked you when we took you with the 3rd pick? Psych. Psych, we still like Jimmy better. Ha ha, in your face, Trey. Eric Bieniemy will get something out of Trey after Kyle gets canned. Kyle, you better do something with Trey because I think there's a lot of coaches who will be lining up to coach Trey Lance. So you better have a plan. Wow, Grant, give the world a chance. Andrew says, you think they'll play Trey differently in the regular season? I don't know. This was the dress rehearsal. I don't know, man. Maybe if I make a big enough stink about it, yeah. 2 quarterback will work. It show defenses will have fits. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Kyle isn't above self-sabotaging. Did it to McNabb when he suggested plays based on the team's strength and weaknesses. Kyle took his advice after benching him for John Beck. That's the thing with Kyle. I've said it for years. This guy is self-destructive, and I don't know where it comes from. Genius. His biggest nemesis is himself. He is Superman and Lex Luthor at the same time. It's amazing. One of the more self-destructive coaches I've ever covered or seen. It's amazing. Only guy who can stop him is himself. So I don't know, man. I don't know what that is, but that's probably some serious psychology that I couldn't even get into. Blaine says, we gave up so much draft capital for what? Average Jimmy and this guy who isn't ready. That's what I'm freaking saying. For what? What did you get? Average Jimmy, guy who's not ready, 2 quarterbacks, no quarterbacks. Really hard pill to swallow, especially when Justin Fields looks good. Mac Jones looks good. Not only did you not need to trade up, but you could have stood pat and got someone who's ready and good. I'm not saying Trey was the wrong pick, but Kyle, show us why you did this. Show us that you think it's the right pick. Because right now I'm wondering what the hell you're thinking. To me, I think you think, man, I should have stuck to my guns and drafted Mac Jones. That's not helpful. It's not helpful. Eric says, I don't think this trade will age well, especially since Miami is now using our first-round picks to get Watson. 3 first-round picks and a 3rd for a guy you're going to use like Taysom Hill. It's a bad look. $5 donation to wine for your pops. Relax. Yeah, thanks. I'm going to need it. I definitely lost that. He's somewhere watching like, yeah, look at Grant. Really having a tough night. He's having a great day, I'm sure. Tobin says, totally looks like the body language of certain players hints at not being behind Trey. And yeah, Kyle is a harsh downer as a leader. Yeah. Yes, I feel terrible for Trey Lance. It's a really tough situation for a 21-year-old to be in. It's like, we drafted you, but our locker room doesn't want you, and Kyle's wishy-washy. Good luck. Why'd you draft me? I could have went somewhere else and had a better chance. Poor Trey. Thank you, Tobin. Okay, let's move on. This is another thing that bothers me. One more thing that bothers me about this team. And this came from Raheem Mostert, who I love and respect. I won't say I love him, but I definitely respect him. Someone asked Raheem Mostert, hey, what do you think of this defensive line? Like, is it as good as that D-line from 2 years ago? And he was like, oh, yeah, man, we're definitely getting 2019 vibes. They need to stop referencing 2019. Stop talking about it. Because to me, one of the big reasons that Jimmy Garoppolo is still a starting quarterback of this team is they're still in denial about that Super Bowl. The players on this team, in my opinion, are still in that mode where they think they should have won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. And the only reason they had a bad year last year was injuries. So remember we talked about this all year last year, the revenge tour, how it's like a totally bogus mindset. That season is done. It's dead. You need to move on and create a new team. And they're like, nah, we're going to run it back. We're going to get revenge on the whole league for, I don't even know what it means, but we're going to run it back and prove that team in the past was the best. They're still trying to do that? 2019 vibes? If I were Kyle Shanahan, I would fine any player $10,000 anytime they reference 2019. It's over. That team is dead. It's over. If they win the Super Bowl this year, it wasn't 2019 vibes. It wasn't revenge tour. It was a new team that won the Super Bowl. I really think that, I don't think it's Kyle's fault. I don't think he talks like this. I think it's the players in the locker room who all have convinced themselves that particular team in 2019 was great. Jimmy was the quarterback. He deserves another chance because replacing him basically is an admission from the team that they weren't good enough in 2019, and they haven't made that admission yet. They still think we should have won. We got screwed. Refs didn't call holding on Nick Bosa. They called that ticky-tack offensive pass interference call on George Kittle. Wasn't fair. We got screwed. The league wanted to anoint Patrick Mahomes. Not fair. That's what this team thinks, and it's not helpful. The reason they were great in 2019 is they were focused on 2019. They weren't like, yo, these are some 2012 vibes, guys. This team really reminds us of the team that went to the Super Bowl with Colin. No. They were a humble team with low expectations that just kicked ass every week and proved it every week. Oh, you don't think we're good? Here we go. Now it's like, no, we need the credit. I don't know. I don't like it. I think this team is always going to struggle until they acknowledge that 2019 was freaking 2 years ago and that this is a new team and that they have a new identity. But if they were willing to accept that, they'd make Trey Lance their starting quarterback, and they're not willing to accept that. So, we got Revenge Tour 2.0. They're getting revenge on the Revenge Tour. They're avenging the Revenge Tour. That's what they're doing. It's really remarkable stuff. Raheem, I love you, man. You were set up for that question, too. You were asked about 2019. I'm just saying, Raheem, every player on the 49ers, it's a bad look. Don't talk about 2019 anymore. I think it's a bad look. So, enough with the vibes. No vibes. No, it's a no vibe situation here. Don't talk about 2019 ever again. Fair? Is that? I'm just trying to help. Okay, that's it. That's the end of my rant. Jimmy G starting equals draft capital. That's what this is all about. The trade value? Has his trade value improved? I don't think it has. Sliced Bread says, Grant, you should have saved this rant for when we were 1-6. True. Marcus says, here's $2. Thank you. I appreciate that. Tell Kyle all of this is proof that great coordinators don't always make great head coaches. Yeah, I'll tell him that to his face. Hey, Kyle. $5 donation to the... Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay. Did I miss anything else? Hold on. It's the Lamar Jackson experiment. Relax. Okay. Hold on. This revenge tour, hold on. 2.0 is giving peaked in high school. Yeah. Let it go. Prove yourself again. That was 2 years ago. That was before COVID-19 existed. It's over. You need to reestablish yourself. Revenge tour. 2019 vibes. Ooh, I don't like it. I just don't. Jimmy Garoppolo rushed for a TD and got a celebration for a king. Traded the same thing and got a fist bump. I'm pretty certain it's a locker room thing now. There's no question about it. This team is in revenge tour mode. They love Jimmy Garoppolo. They don't want to accept that team wasn't good enough. They don't want to accept that their new leader is 21 years old and was in freaking high school. He was a freshman in college when they lost the Super Bowl. They don't want to accept it. That their new best player, their new leader, their new quarterback, not best player, but their new quarterback was a freshman in high school when they all lost the most important game of their career. They don't want to accept it. Accept it. Anyway, they'll accept it when Jimmy Garoppolo does, his bad Jimmy performance, which is inevitable. Marcus, here's $1. Thank you, Marcus. That was very nice. Lawless top 5D this year. I don't know about that. We'll see. I'm not sure. It's deaf because Kyle needs to be the star. That's the problem, man. To me, a great head coach is able to make his players the star. But Kyle can't do that. He needs to be the star. He always needs to point out through someone after games that he's really the reason that Jimmy had a good game. I mean, really look at the air yards. Look at it's like, dude, great. All you do is undercut the most important ego player on your team, the quarterback. That's what you do for a living. Are practice squad allowed to deny other teams to pick them up? No. Why would they deny that? It's big raise. Okay, last thing. Hold on. It needs to be the Quest 4-6 Forget a Revenge Tour. We still avenging 2012. Thank you. 2019 vibes. Stop with that. Ain't no vibe. I didn't pick up the vibe. All right, last thing. The running game. I think the Niners have a really good running game. I think this running game is terrific. And if Trey Lance were the full-time quarterback, I think they could lead the league in rushing. You saw what his presence on the field did. I mean, Mostert was getting like 4 or 5 yards a carry. All of a sudden, Trey Lance is in the game and hands off in 17 yards, 26 yards. It just seems like if you do plays where Lance is in the gun and you have Mostert running to the outside or Deebo Samuel coming in a jet sweep to the outside and Lance either handing it off and faking running up the middle or keeping it and running up the middle, you're making Mostert even better because Mostert is the fastest running back in the league. And to stop him on the outside run, the linebackers have to start flowing that direction, but they can't if Lance is in the pistol handing it off. They have to stay right there because Lance is just as big of a threat running the ball as Mostert. So they're stationary while Mostert's getting handoffs to the outside, and all of a sudden, what was a 6-yard run is now a 17-yard run. And it's not just like Mostert and Lance. I mean, Sermon looks really good. Mitchell looks really freaking good. Hasty looks amazing. They have 4 running backs that look like they could start for teams. And then they also have Wayne Gallman, who's a proven player. It'd be interesting if the Niners keep 5 running backs. No one does it. But what's the point of keeping, let's say, 6 wide receivers on a team that's definitely going to run the ball 60% of the time, 65% of the time? Why do you need 4 backup wide receivers when you're going to be in 2 tight end sets most of the time anyway? You're going to be in 2 wide receiver sets most of the time. You go 3 wide receivers on 3rd down. Usually that 6th wide receiver is Richie James Jr., who's a returner. You don't need him. The returner should be Elijah Mitchell. You don't need a 6th wide receiver. And on a team that had a bunch of injuries at running back last year, you need as many healthy bodies at that position as possible. So if they keep Gallman and Hasty and Mitchell and Sermon and Mostert, I'll say, hey, good. At least you're never going to have a game where you have to start Jerick McKinnon this year. So I think the Niners' run game is going to be really good with Trey Lance. With Jimmy Garoppolo, it'll be good. With Trey Lance, it'll be the best. That's the way I see it. So that's definitely something to be encouraged about. It's a run-first team, and I think the run game is going to be the best they've ever had on this team. I don't want to make any big statements about the defense on a day that they face Nathan Peterman. Nathan Peterman is the worst quarterback in the NFL. I don't know how he's still in here. So I'm not going to make any big statements about them, but I think this running game is the truth, and it's going to look really good, and it's going to keep the Niners competitive because it'll help the quarterbacks. They won't have to do much. It'll help the defense because it'll keep them off the field. It'll keep the Niners competitive this year. If they didn't have this running game, I don't know what they would have. But the running game should make them a playoff team. So that's, to me, the most positive takeaway from this game. They can really run the ball. They're like 5 deep at running back when they were not deep at all at that position last year. That's good. So good for the 49ers that they have some. I think Trey Sermon looks really good. I've been waiting to see something from him. You cannot judge a running back in camp. You can't. There's no tackling. The first preseason game, he just got. There was nowhere for him to go. He was playing with backups against a starting defense. This game, he looked really good. So very encouraging. Tobin says, I'm getting bad vibes from George Kittle. Honestly, he really doesn't seem to have Lance back at all. I agree. I think this team is very cliquey. It's, they love each other, win or lose. They're a tight-knit group no matter what. And now you bring in a new guy who's supposed to just take over. I think they have a problem with it. All Kittle says is he's 21. Every time he's asked about Trey Lance, he's like, oh, yeah, he's really impressive for a 21-year-old. Sometimes I forget he's 21, but he's 21. All the time. I think this is a problem. A problem. 29-year-olds not wanting to give a 21-year-old his shot. At least yet. It's a problem. Because it's not their freaking call. George, it's not your decision. Jonathan says, Jimmy and the Niners are not going to beat Tampa. Not a team not going all the then play Trey. Yeah, I mean, are the Niners as good as Tampa? No. Are the Niners as good as Green Bay? No. Are the Niners as good as the Rams? Maybe. Maybe the Niners are the third best team in the NFC. Maybe. But until they get one quarterback who's good, I don't think they're as good as the Packers. I think the Niners would have a lot of trouble with the Bucs defense. Forget the Bucs offense with Tom Brady. The Bucs defense would give Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance a lot of problems. That's all I'm saying. Hasty looks like Baby Marshawn. That's what I've been saying. Mini Marshawn. Mini Marshawn. RWJ all day says Trey is starting. Kyle said he hopes the team trusts his decision. That explains why Kittle seems upset. He feels like Jimmy's getting screwed. Well, good for you, Kyle. But again, if this is your way of preparing Trey Lance to start, how is this the best way to do it? You haven't really created a ton of confidence within the locker room, within the fan base, and he never got to start any preseason games, but you're going to start him week 1. Why? To troll people? I don't think you did a great job of preparing Lance or either quarterback. I don't think you did a great job preparing a quarterback to be your starter this year, Kyle. I don't think you did. But I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong. I'm usually wrong. Tony says, what? Oh, yeah, let's not forget that Jeff Wilson Jr. comes back midseason too. True. That is true. That is very true. Grant, be honest, you were a Niner fan 25% of the time. I was a Niner fan growing up. I was a Niner fan from 1994 to 2010. I'm not a Niner fan anymore. I think most people understand that I really don't get upset when they lose. But the team means a lot to me. I've followed them my whole life. I think they should be good. I hold them to a high standard. And when they fall beneath it, it pisses me off. Not because I'm rooting for them, because I just think they're an important franchise that should do better. But I don't know. Maybe that's being a fan. Oh, yeah. Somebody owes their dad a bottle of wine. Oh, yeah. Yeah, a good one, too. I'll let you guys know what it is. I'm going to get him something real special. Hasty's a beast. Yeah, he is. Yes, he is. Hey, guys, I appreciate you guys listening to my negative rant after a preseason game. I know it's not the time, but it's just who I am. And I know you guys understand that it's just what I do. So I had to get this off my chest. I express myself the only way I know how. Vish will bring me back to earth tomorrow. That's what he does. Trey says hardest decisions will be at the running back and defensive line. They cut any player at those positions. They won't get them on the practice squad. Keep all. That's what I'm saying. You cut Hasty, gone. Cut Mitchell, gone. Gallman, gone. Keep them all. You need the running backs. You don't need 6 wide receivers. You're not going to throw that much. Alex says Juszczyk's new contract makes no sense with Trey running the read option. The whole idea is you don't need the fullback to get the same numbers game. Ooh, that is a great point. So they spent this money on the fullback that's not really super necessary with a read option quarterback. They signed Nate Sudfeld, who's not a read option quarterback. But they want you to think that they wanted Trey Lance all along? I don't freaking buy it. Prove me wrong, Kyle. Great comment. That's why you spent $8 instead of $5, because you knew you had something to say that was money. I love that. That was really good. That was really smart. In fact, let's read it again, because I thought it was that's an $8 comment if I've ever seen one. Hold on. Alex says, Juszczyk's new contract makes no sense with Trey running the read option. The whole idea of a fullback of the read option is you don't need the fullback to get the same numbers game. That's true. Everything about this offseason has reinforced the reports that Kyle Shanahan didn't want Trey Lance at first. I know he said that he was drawing up plays for Trey Lance after he left Justin Fields. That's a bizarre report, too, because, Justin Fields is pretty good. He's ready. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Look, I'm not trying to be too negative here. I just feel that Kyle responds best when I go on these rants. So he has some things he can improve, and I think he definitely will because he's watching this live right now. Hey, Kyle, how you doing? I'm a Cohn head. Damn, that's all that matters. Yeah! Thank you, Melvin. All right, guys. I'm done. That is the end of the show. Thank you guys very much for watching me. I'm sure I triggered a lot of you guys, and you guys kind of hate watched it. But, hey, I'll be much more positive tomorrow. Vish will have very positive things to say. And then the Niners will win all their games with Jimmy Garoppolo. He'll be the MVP of the league, win the Super Bowl, and I'll be wrong again. Which I like. My favorite thing is being wrong. So, time for me to drive home to Oakland, have dinner with my lovely wife, and go to sleep at a reasonable hour. I will see you tomorrow morning with Vish, and throughout the day. So, thanks, guys. See you guys. Take care.